Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. Hope everyone is having a good what is it, Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing the new comic book day video highlighting books coming out the following week. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Yeah, so this video is to review the CBSI Hot 10 list. This list came out last Friday, December 15th. So it's a little late. I didn't get a chance this weekend. I was doing soccer tournaments all weekend. My son had soccer tournaments down in an area near Sarasota. And, the weather was terrible. It was cold and rainy the whole time, and mud was everywhere. It wasn't the most pleasant, but he did well. The team played well. They didn't win the tournament, but they played well and played strong. So that's kind of all that matters. Played as a team. So we had a good time there. Oh, hold on one second, guys. I got to let the cat out of my room here. 1 second. I guess the cat snuck into my comic book room. I didn't see him. He's going to be scratching at the door the whole time if I don't let him out. All right. So let's review this Hot 10 list. I actually have four. I have 4 of the Hot 10 books on the list in hand right here. So I'm going to show those when they come up on the list. So let's jump into it. The typical format. We're going to start off with the honorable mentions. Peter says these are one-off sales worth noting this week. Single sales may not warrant a place on the main list, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't note impressive and notable single sales each week. So these are graded books that went for sale. I don't know if they were on eBay or auctions. Doesn't really state. Maybe it was eBay. Usually it's eBay. Number one, the first one here rather is Walt Disney Comics and Stories #1. A CGC 1.0, pretty low grade. Probably has a really bad spine. Probably has a chunk taken out of it somewhere. That's probably could be missing a page. I don't know. That's probably not. It's usually you wouldn't get a blue label, I guess, if you're missing a page, right? That'd be a qualified grade. So it is a complete book. It's just very low grade. Probably was in a box in an attic somewhere. I mean, how old is that book anyways? Let's see if I can zoom in on the book here. I don't know if I can zoom in enough to see. 1940, yeah, 1940 is pretty old. That's Golden Age. Golden Age. So it sold for $1,800. Quite a big bump from the last sale in that grade of $823, which was back in 2017. So yeah, I guess these books don't come up for sale very often, and when they do, even at low grade, people are willing to spend money on them. Man, can you imagine what like a 9.0 would sell for? A lot of money. If there is even one, I don't know. Do you have to check the census on that? There might be one or two in high grade file copies sitting in a Disney vault somewhere, maybe, right? The other one here mentioned is 3D Zone number 16. This is a CGC 98 that just sold. Dave Stevens cover. Dave Stevens definitely perfected the hot girl cover before anybody else, really. He passed away many years ago, but his work is still being talked about and celebrated today. Looks like they sold a copy for $4,000 for a 9.8. Wow, crazy. I guess the last recorded sale was at $1,500. That's a big jump. It says this is a minimal trade price variant, which is extremely thin on the census, and this is one of only 4 9.8s on this variant. So Space Vixens is on the cover there. I guess they're showing you. Maybe they're showing you what the difference is. Yeah. I don't know. They look pretty similar to me. I don't know what the difference is. But there you go. Dave Stevens. People are always going to look for Dave Stevens covers. I've got a couple of them in my collection that I remember getting from my good friend Marcus back in the day. Marcus, not too long ago. All right, number 10 on the list is DC's "'Twas the Might Before Christmas," not the night, the might. Issue number 1. This is the 1 in 25. I saw it on Midtown. I think Midtown had it for like, I think they had it for like $40, 40 or 45. It's about what's selling for right now. 3 copies sold, probably on eBay. I mean, I gotta imagine this is a tough book to find. It's a one shot. It only comes out at Christmas time. Most stores are not going to order 25 copies of a one shot that probably won't sell 5 copies. And that's probably a good store that does a lot of business. Might sell 5 regular copies, maybe 6. Maybe a big shop, really big shop might do 10, but no one's selling 25. Yeah. So it's a cool cover. I mean, it's a cool cover. I think who did the cover on that? Sway Lee Boo or something like that. Somebody that draws kind of like that style. I think it was Sweeney, or maybe it was Sweeney Boo. I can't remember. Something like that. Similar to that. Peter says we'll see how this one does as the holidays approach. Probably after the holidays, the price will drop back down. I wouldn't be surprised if you could pick it up around ratio again. So if you have your eyes set on that book, I would wait till sometime in January. Yeah, mid-January. You'll probably find a deal on it if you're patient. Number 9 is Sonic the Hedgehog Winter Jam number 1. This is the 1 in 25. Selling for about $50 on eBay. I've been talking about this forever. These incentive ratio Sonic the Hedgehog books, especially if it has a really interesting cover, tend to do very well. I've done very well this year flipping the Sonic the Hedgehog books. One of them I flipped for, I think I paid $60 for it, and I sold it for $250, which is crazy. Even with the eBay fees, I still made a huge profit. This one I picked up for just under ratio, so I do have it in my collection. There it is. Let me kind of show that one off there. So there it is, beautiful condition. And you got to be careful with these IDW books, especially the dark covers. They sometimes have spine ticks. This one came in great shape. So definitely a 9.8 candidate. But again, not a lot of stores are going to order 25 copies of a Sonic book. They might sell 5 to 8 of them. That's about it. So to get 25 to get this one incentive is probably just not going to happen with most shops. So again, yeah, I could probably sell this for double what I paid, pretty sure, pretty quickly. If I wanted to, I'm going to hold on to it though. I think that one might be worth holding on to. We'll see. All right, let me get back to the list. Next on our list is Spectre number 8. I don't have that cover. I do have some Spectre books, some random ones, but I don't have that one. It is kind of a cool cover. That book goes back to, when was that, 90s? And that came out in the 90s. I'm going to check real quick. Spectre number 8. Wow, no, I'm way off. Way off. 1969. Yeah, it's a cool cover. 1969, probably tough to find it in high grade. I mean, just the older the book gets these days, the tougher it is to find it in high grade. I like the cover though. It's kind of cool. It's got a dynamic feel to it. I went on eBay. There's a couple low grade copies on eBay. I don't see any high grade copies on eBay at the moment, but yeah, I wasn't aware of that. The cover looks kind of new. It's kind of ahead of its time. I thought that was like, it looked like a 1990s cover. But man, 1968, crazy. But again, high grade copies, tough to find. I looked on eBay myself, did not really see too many. All low grade copies, reader copies for the most part. But they're saying that there was about 20 different sales this week, ranging in the $15 to $40 range, with a very fine copy selling at a high of $70. Yeah, I don't see any near mint copies, so that must have been earlier in the week. I didn't see that, but I'll probably have to go check the sold listings. Peter says there isn't much to point to as the reason. Some deep Reddit rumors involving Aquaman 2 seem like a reach, but anything is possible. It's a cool cover though. I like it. That's one I want to put on my list. I'd love to find a near mint copy of that book. That'd be kind of cool. Number 7 is Batman 428. Now this book is doing well because they're re-releasing a reprinted version with a Robin Lives version of the story instead of him dying. Classic Mike Mignola cover. Jim Starlin doing the writing. Man, that's when comic books were really good. Batman, that 406 to, what was it, 500 run was so good. A lot of good stories in that run. And not a book that I have in my collection, unfortunately, but definitely a good book to consider picking up. Raws are going between $20 and $40. 9/8. Somebody accepted a best offer at $425. But there is a reprinted foil version of this out there. I think that it was just released, so that's obviously causing a little buzz on the original. Number 6 on the list is Wolverine number 55. 20 sales this past week. There's some, I guess, delayed reaction to the leaks from Deadpool 3 set. Yeah, it's a cool cover. I mean, it's a cool cover. Who doesn't like that cover? Is it Simon Bianchi did the cover on that one. Again, this is a book that I have in the collection. I'm going to show it real quick so everyone can see. There you go. I bought it when it came out. I've held this book a long time. So there is also the regular issue 55 cover as well, which is not a bad cover either. I like that cover. But yeah, that was a variant. I don't think it was an incentive variant. If I remember right, I think it was just like a B cover variant. Oh, Greg Land did the cover. I'm sorry. Who did I say did the cover? Bianchi? No, he does the interior art. Simon Bianchi does the interior art. Jeff Loeb doing the writing on that book. But yeah, that is who did I say it was? Yeah, Greg Land. It's a Greg Land cover. It's a good cover. Greg Land, he was really popular back in what was that? The 2010s to 2015, maybe right around that time. And then I think somebody was saying he was, I don't know if it was ever proven, but it looked like he was doing copying. Some of his covers looked like, especially the females, they look like recent porn stars. So yeah, there was definitely a backlash at him. He's still in the industry, he's still producing material and still doing covers, but he's not quite as popular as he once was. But I definitely think that is a great cover that he did. Yeah, I love it. It's kind of it's a pretty gruesome looking cover. I can see that's always going to be a popular cover. People love gruesome and gore and all that good stuff. So going for about $20 to $30 raw, and 9/8 sold for $175. I think my copy would go as a 9/8. It might need a press. I think there's just a slight little spine, little spine roll that can be pressed out though, so easy. But yeah, it's pretty clean. I don't have no spine ticks really. Nothing too noticeable. No creases. The corners are nice and sharp. Yeah, it might be a 9/8, 9/6 for sure. But I have no intention of grading it, just because I don't also have any intention of selling it. So it's just a cool looking cover I love having in my collection. The next one on the list here is Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, #1. This is just the 1 in 25. I'm not too sure. It says it's selling as a set. These didn't take long to start, selling as high as $20 to $25 individually, or sets for $35 to $50. Yeah, it's a cool cover. These are the Roar FX covers. I guess it has like a little chip in the cover, so it makes a sound. You'll hear a slight roar coming from the cover. These are inside. The polybags is a connecting cover art and unreliable sound FX. Maybe mine are defective, but I couldn't get them to roar more than just once a piece to ensure they worked, but couldn't replicate my one-time success. So there you go. Now there's going to be a different price for one that actually works, where it still roars, right? That's going to go for more money now. It's a cool looking cover though. I like that Godzilla cover. It's classic. #4 on the list is Godzilla #1. Speaking of Godzilla, obviously Godzilla is in the news. The movie is doing very, very well. In fact, let me see what the total. Yeah, Godzilla -1 is the name of the movie. What are the sales numbers? 65 million worldwide against a budget of only 15 million. Can you imagine that? Their budget was only 15 million and they've made 65 million. Just contrast that to Disney, who spends what, $200 million on that Wish movie. It hasn't even come close to breaking even. It probably won't. Plus, they probably spent another 100 million in promotion. So there's probably a 300 million break point just to break even on that movie, and that thing hasn't even done 65 million. Maybe it's done 40 or 50 million at this point. Let's look it up. Wish movie sales numbers. Collider says it's done 72 million. Okay. Oh, 72 million overseas and 55 million domestically, 126 million. That's pretty bad. Remember, this movie cost around $200 million to make, and then that doesn't include promotional costs, which is probably at least another 100 million. So think about it. It's not even coming close to just breaking even on the production cost. So there's been no profit on that movie so far. 48% score on Rotten Tomatoes as well, which is pretty terrible. Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys can't see the screen I'm looking at. I went to Google and I just Googled the sales numbers, but Godzilla's doing well. And who doesn't love that classic Godzilla comic? The first appearance of Godzilla. This came out in 1977. There's my I've got two copies actually. And they're both in high grade too. I would say they're both it I think both of them are either 9.6s or maybe even 9.8s. These are really clean copies. They've got maybe one or two little flaws on them. So maybe 9.6. One of them might be a 9.8. I think one of them might be a 9.8. I got one copy here that's it's pretty damn pristine. There's like no spine ticks, no creases, the sharp corners. I mean, it looks like a brand new book. One of my copies has a slight little coloration at the top, very slight. You barely see it.
You guys can hear me now? God damn. How long has my audio been out? Hopefully for not too long. Where should I go back on the list? Franco's Comics, you're in the chat. Jeez. I'm glad I read the comments real fast. Oh, I was talking about 9/8 on the Godzilla. Okay, thank you, Franco. All right. So let me go back just a tad. I was talking about Godzilla was number 4 on the list. And this book came out in 1977. 9/8 sold for about $450 this past week with a high sale at $550. Again, the movie is done well. I guess internationally, it costs nothing to make. And the CGI is pretty not the greatest, but the story is really good on it. From what I've heard, that's what matters, and that's what you're not getting from a lot of these other movies these days. You're not getting good story, good content, and apparently this Godzilla movie has a great story attached to it, so that's one of the reasons it's doing so well. Number 3 is Star Wars High Republic Shadows of Starlight, number 3. This is the 1 in 25 spoiler variant, so that's what the cover looks like. We didn't know until this past week when they released what the cover looked like. Ben Harvey cover. I like Ben Harvey. He's a good artist. He just did a Daredevil cover that was really cool that I picked up. High sale of $100, but normally in the range of 35 to 50, so definitely above ratio right now on that book. No spoiler to it, not a first appearance of anybody, but hey, a Wookiee holding a lightsaber. I can see why people might go for that book. Number 2, to recap, was Street Fighter Masters Kimberly number 1. This is an Ink Pot cover. I think Ink Pot, I've heard of that artist before, associated with Deviant Art, I think is where I've seen that artist before. Cool cover. I like it. I just like the pose, and she's kind of like, I don't know, ready to kick some ass. Look at those abs. Holy crap. I didn't have abs like that even when I was 18. I did have a flat stomach. But and a little bit of abs, but I didn't have those like defined cut abs, that takes probably a long time to build. But this is a cool looking cover, selling around $20 to $40. There's been 20 sales of this on eBay. Just a cool looking cover. And Street Fighter comics do tend to do well. There's always going to be collectors, especially for a really cool looking cover. I've got a lot of those Delato Street Fighter covers, which are really cool. I just stick them in a box, forget I own them. Maybe one day they'll be worth something. Who the heck knows? Nostalgia always comes back around, right? A lot of people my age remember playing that game when it came out at the arcades and how cool it was. And I was trying to master the moves, and what was the Ken and Ryu could do that. I love doing that, shooting that, whatever the hell that was. Energy Blast. I could do the Energy Blast, and eventually I could do the, what's that? All You Can, where he jumps up in the air, and it typically beats the crap out of almost anybody. That, and I used to play the army guy. God dang, what's his name? Starts with a G. Gaijin? I can't remember his name. God, it starts with a G. It's almost on the tip of my brain. But I liked him because he had those sweeping kicks you could do. So that was his signature move. Yeah, I was a big fan of Street Fighter, the video game. I played the video game a lot. I probably spent several $100s in quarters over the span of a year or two, at least, on that game when it came out. I was a big fan of it. So I'm definitely partial to the Street Fighter comic books for sure. Number 1 on the list is Justice League number 1. Keith Giffen, who is the writer, passed away this past year. Rest in peace, my friend. 65 copies sold this past week. So this book is selling. We'll have to check eBay out and see, but ranging prices from $5 to $20. I guess James Gunn is casting his brother, James Gunn's brother as Maxwell Lord in the DC Cinematic Universe. 9/8s are up to $125, $85 last week, so there's definitely a move on the price. And then, of course, I showed off this cover real quick. There is my copy. Nice high-grade white cover copy. I think it's a 9.6 or a 9.8 candidate, one of the two. I don't know. But I probably paid like $5 or $10 for it back in the day. I mean, I bought it years ago. And I think I bought it because it was the first appearance of Maxwell Lord in this issue. So, and I remember I think I bought it even a couple years before that that movie came out, where we had Maxwell Lord in the Wonder Woman movie, which they didn't do the best representation of him. Maxwell Lord is definitely a more deadly character than they made him out to be in that Wonder Woman movie. So, it'd be kind of cool to see if they do him a little bit more how he should be done. He was pretty much a badass in comic books. I mean, Superman was kind of apprehensive to go up against him. So that's saying something, especially if you can control just about anybody's mind. Franco says it's the first Wookiee Jedi. Okay, so maybe that's the reason. But someone said that was not the first appearance of that character, though. I think I remember reading that. So, yeah, but maybe maybe it's the first cover appearance. I'm not too sure. If anybody knows in the chat, certainly chime in. But that's your list. That is your top 10, your hot 10 list. I've got 4 of the books in my collection, which is nice. I like that Street Fighter book. I might try to get that. Actually, I've got 5 of the books. I got that Star Wars book. Just don't have it in hand yet. I like that Spectre book. I might look for that if I could get a high-grade copy. I'm not interested in that DC Christmas book, and that doesn't really appeal to me. But so there it is. There's your list. Real quick, I was going to highlight something that I thought was interesting. I think Rob Liefeld is in the news again. What did he say here? Let me type in recent comments. See if I can find it here. It's got to be one of the top things that comes up. Maybe CBR has it. No, it's October. It must have been on, maybe it was on Twitter. I don't have Twitter on my computer downloaded, I don't think. Maybe I do. Let's see here. No, I do have my Twitter up, okay. So I'm logged in. I don't use Twitter I still call it Twitter. I can't get used to calling it X. I don't follow Liefeld. I guess I'll have to follow him. But it basically, I can see if I can find the post, but he basically came out saying DC is in big trouble, and he hinted that this will be something about the first part of 2024, maybe even January of 2024. And he hashtag consolidating. So I can't find his, damn, maybe he deleted the post already. Yeah. Maybe I don't think he's posted anything in quite a while. Do they have these by date? I don't know. See, I don't use X or Twitter very often. I don't know if these posts are allocated by date or not. I don't know how they're allocated. But basically, he hinted, I was trying to find his post, but I heard that he had posted that there's definitely some changes coming to DC. DC has a lot of financial issues. Warner Brothers owns DC Comics, and apparently they're bleeding red quite a bit. Warner Brothers has some major problems. They have a lot of debt. They acquired DC Comics through that deal with AT&T, the purchase of AT&T. So Liefeld, I don't know if he's an insider or not into the comic book world of DC, but apparently he's hinting that there could be some issues with DC Comics early next year. So we'll have to see. Maybe it's just an unfounded rumor. Maybe there's something substantial to it. We'll have to see. But Liefeld's not he's been around a long time. He certainly knows comic books. I don't think he's the best artist. He's not my favorite artist. But let's face it, he's created some fantastic characters. Deadpool, Cable, some of the best characters in the last 20 years. Liefeld has definitely been at the top of that list. Deadpool 3 is coming out next year. There's a lot of hype on that movie. I've heard there's already a lot of controversy that there's supposedly some infighting between Ryan Reynolds and the studio heads. Ryan Reynolds is probably wanting his Deadpool movie to come out the way he envisions it. And I think he should have more say on that than anybody else. Let's face it, the first Deadpool movies, a lot of the credit goes to Ryan Reynolds. He didn't write the whole thing, obviously. He co-wrote some of it, but he really brought that character to life. But I can't imagine anybody else playing Deadpool. I mean, I can't. Can you? Who the heck could play Deadpool besides Ryan Reynolds? He just is perfect for that character. So I don't know. Supposedly Disney, the rumor is Disney is going to separate ways with Ryan Reynolds. They do not want to use Deadpool in any of the upcoming X-Men movies. That's the rumor. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how well this Deadpool movie does. I mean, I think if they let Ryan Reynolds have more creative control, I think it will do well. And if they don't, I think there definitely could be some issues. We'll see. Let me tell you, it's a precarious industry to be in. It always was. It's always kind of a gamble and risky doing movies. But these days, I mean, if Disney can't make a good movie, their last 7 movies have basically bombed in respect to what they were supposed to do as, the results, what the anticipated results of those movies were supposed to be. They came nowhere near that. So it's very, very interesting. It's an interesting period of time that we live in. Let's face it. I don't like going to the movie theaters anymore. I'd still go here and there to a movie, especially if the kids really want to go. But for the most part, man, I'm so happy to sit back in my couch. I got the most comfortable couch. In fact, it's probably too comfortable. I tend to fall asleep in it. It's called a cloud couch. So that tells you how comfortable it is. And I've got one of those big, huge 85-inch TV screens. And even with my bad vision, I can see everything perfect on that screen. So it's great to watch movies on. And if there's a movie coming out, yeah, I would rather wait a few months until it's on streaming. That's me. And I have a lot of the streaming channels, Netflix. I have Disney Plus because not really because of me, but mostly because my kids watch a lot of Disney shows. I think I have Hulu. What else do I have? HBO Max, or they call it Max now. I have that one. So yeah, I'm a big streamer. I've got high-speed internet coming into the house, and I'd prefer to just sit home and make the popcorn myself, so versus going to a movie theater. And I think most people tend to be that way these days, right? I think a lot of us like to be homebodies. A lot of us work from home now. It's just the culture in the society that we live in today. So I'm not saying it's good or bad, but that's kind of what it is. All right. I want to say, give some recognition to a few people in the chat here who've been so helpful. Luis Ramirez, 504. Thank you. We got Franco's Comics. Thank you, Franco. You were kind enough to inform me that my audio cut off. I'm glad I was able to see your message there and rectify that real quick. I don't know what happened. I think a call came in on it. It muted my my headset. So thank you for helping me with that. And we got Kenneth Bird. He stopped by to say hello, so I appreciate that. All right, guys, that's what I had for you. That's your review of the CBSI Hot 10 list. Let me know what you think. Please leave a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. And also make sure you follow me on Instagram, Justice for Comics. I post a lot of comic books on there. I just posted one today that I got in the mail. That looks really cool. I'm going to post a couple more this evening. So make sure you are following me on Instagram under Justice for Comics. And that's what I had for you guys. So tomorrow I will be doing a new comic book day review video for the books coming out the following Wednesday. So look for that in the afternoon tomorrow. Usually the list comes out around 4 o'clock, 4:30. So I will try to get that up on my channel as soon as possible so you guys get the information as quick as you can, and so you can make those plans, get your list together, the books you want to pick up for the following week. I'll give you my take on it and what you should be looking for. All right, everybody, have a great evening, and I'll see you all soon.